Greetings, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for some midday Twilight Struggle here. We've got a treat for you today. It's an ITSL playoff game. This is a third round game one between Tim Furrow and Chris Gentry. I am certainly an interested observer in this one. Winner of this series gets me in the quarterfinals, so I'll be doing some scouting along with my commentary. I'm joined by a special guest today. So glad we could have him along on my stream. Special guest, how are you doing?
This special guest is doing great.
I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, well, let us get to this one and start the video now. So Tim is the higher seed, and Tim is the lower seed, and but Chris elected to take the USA. Much to Tim's delight, Tim prefers the USSR. So, special guest Derek, what do you think of Tim's opening hand here?
Nice to see D-style in hand always. Doesn't have like a super strong headline unless Chris ends up setting up in France, then Suez makes a lot of sense. But I wouldn't complain about this hand as the Soviets.
Yeah, it's a fine hand. Always happy to see D-stall turn one. CNS will be your headline here, and then the
Mhm.
ops are decent. The issue is, I mean, how are you going to play this? You're going to want a UN NORAD, I assume, rather than
Mhm.
space it because you need the ops. But then EEU is an issue if you're going to try and get D-stall off turn one. I wonder if this is a situation where you're going to play, we're going to UN NORAD, play EEU for ops, and then hold D-stall. Okay, well, Middle East scoring headline from Chris, so he'll pick up 4 VPs there.
Yeah, it is kind of awkward. And I could see playing the China card here because usually one of my hesitations with playing China turn one is letting my opponent hold D style through the reshuffle. But obviously that's not a worry here. So I could see him potentially playing China.
Yep, yeah, that may be the right play. Yeah, I playing the China card turn one. I know you play with someone who loves playing the China card on turn one and on any turn. But I think most players like to be a little more careful with it.
Yeah, for sure.
So Tim tries the coup, and wow, Chris goes right back with the coup and
Ooh,
hits it. So that actually is interesting. So he gives Warsaw, which I'm sure is
Warsaw solves a
great.
lot of problems for Tim.
Yeah, so that gives him D-stall fuel. Then Tim also can take a coup back. Yeah, lower DEFCON to 2. Can he get the roll here? Needs a 3 or it's a disaster. He gets just enough.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so Tim gets just enough. And Chris, I'm going to call him Browning because of his username at least once. So
Yeah.
just apologies to that for that, folks. But
No
okay,
siblings.
very helpful that Chris decided to coup back. Tim, and so now DEFCON is a 2. So what do you do here if you're Tim? Are you going to just destall right here on at there's no reason to wait, I guess, now.
Yeah. Oh, you 100% D style. So the question is, are you putting two into Thailand? And like how spread out do you want to be? Because
So
the
I don't like 2 into Thailand. I spending half of D-stall on Southeast Asia is just it doesn't seem great to me. Some players like it. I would rather make sure I got 2 into South America. Um, I like Venezuela, Chile, and then I definitely like 1 in either Thailand or Laos, just to
Mhm.
make the
For sure.
threat
Oh
there.
yeah, you have to go there.
Okay, and Tim thinking about just 1 in South America, going to threaten France. Okay, so Tim says, you know what, you can have Thailand or France, but I'll get the other.
Yeah. I like threatening both because yeah, just like you said, your opponent can't get both. So this at least secures one of them for you.
Big old 4 op there. Okay, and Chris wants Thailand.
And I like Lao.
Yep, and that's fine, and that's fine for Tim. Tim, I think, is happy to make that trade because now he's going to be fine in Europe and Asia. He's still got a shot to get Dom. He's going to need to spend a lot of ops in Western Asia,
Mhm.
but he's not going to be dominated in Asia.
Yeah, I think that worked out well for Tim. He does need to make sure he overprotects France at some point because the Truman threat is out there, and he doesn't have a lot of ops left to do that.
Yep. A little bit of a conservative play there from Chris, taking Portugal right away. Not a bad play, but spending 3 ops in European non-battlegrounds. Tim probably happy to see that. I suspect that with all the access Tim has, he's probably not that excited to spend ops in non-battlegrounds in Europe and would rather spend his ops in battlegrounds, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because Tim's got a ton to do here. He's got to fill Iraq, he's got to fill Iran, he's got to fill Western Asia, he's going to want to get down to Brazil, Zaire, Algeria. He's got so much to do without worrying about Europe domination. But,
Mhm.
and on the other hand, maybe Chris has to give up, perhaps Chris has to give up, what is the card? Romanian. Well,
Mhm.
no, he doesn't. And there's the poke of France that you suggested, and we
Yeah, I
haven't
was
seen
worried about
Truman.
that.
And Tim with no path back in.
And I understand he wanted to take Asia domination, but like I think overprotecting France might have been more important than that.
You know I'm a big France overprotector, Derek,
Mhm.
so I agree with you.
Yeah, I know I'm preaching to the choir here.
Meantime, Tim gets a monster here with 3 4 ops, but he does get CIA at a time when CIA is very awkward for him. So are we going to see Truman from Chris? I feel like that's the no-brainer headline if he has it. No.
Oh, he doesn't have it.
Now, obviously, Suez was gone, but De Gaulle and Sac-Gov's out there, so there was a chance Truman could do nothing.
Hmm.
But yeah, what do you do here? Are you going to hold CIA till turn 3 so it's known? If you give it up now, are you going to what do you do here? Do you go into Zaire first and then give up CIA? Do you just give it up now and say, well, I'll coup back into Angola or Zaire? What do you do?
I think I would hold it till turn three.
It,
It's too awkward playing it right now.
it's
Um,
so bad here. And you're not going to play China, so
yeah.
I think you have to hold it. I think you have to
Mhm.
take a 2 op coup of Panama here
Yep.
and hold it. We did just see Duck. Haven't seen 5 year plan. So you could place the op in Zaire first, but if you do that, then Chris could put his 1 op anywhere and then coup Venezuela with a bigger card. That I
Right.
would not like.
Hmm.
Okay,
All right.
Tim, yeah. So I like that play. I think you do too, Derek.
Yes.
Okay.
So
But now, with the poke, Chris can get Algeria here, right? Wouldn't your play be Algeria?
yeah, I would definitely take Algeria.
Sorry. Chris is purged. I didn't say that.
Hmm.
Chris is purged here. But Algeria, okay, just one Algeria and then stops Asia Dom.
All right, that's reasonable. He might have Asia here and is trying to get away with it, but under purge, it's probably not going to be something he can do.
Yeah. Tim with plenty of ops here, but not a lot of guilt-free ops. Even special's a little bit annoying here.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because you got to get special off before you play NATO.
yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
maybe not.
yeah.
I
Maybe
guess he could space special.
you could space special. You could do the special poke of UK. Um, but okay, Tim gonna give NATO because he wants to take that Asia Dom. Now, my only criticism of that play is it's a 4 op play that can be answered by 1 op.
Hmm.
Right? Now, you need to take South Korea anyway. Okay, there goes the war. This should be Indonesia or Vietnam. No, Philippines. Okay, war hits. Tim happy to see that. Pick up an extra couple of VPs. But now special is unplayable. Yeah, okay, so there's a 1 op. And Tim at this point just hoping that Chris has Asia.
Hmm.
There goes De Gaulle to space. Yeah. It's possible that Brown. So there it is. It's possible that Chris has blockade and decall, so we could see an AR6 blockade here. Okay, so
Oh,
Chris does
no
not have
scoring.
Asia.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Tim. He wanted to see that one come out.
Yep, and Chris still the Libya play suggests that Chris has Nasser and has to give it. There it is. So
Mhm.
he'll take Libya there and just give up Egypt, and then containment. Okay, yeah, France. I'd like to see.
Really,
Pakistan is naked right now. I'd really like to see one in India, but I'd also like to see one in Brazil because you're giving CIA.
yeah.
What do you like here, Derek? Obviously France. What else?
Yeah, France and Zaire, I think, are important because of CIA.
Yeah,
Um, just unfortunately, he had to spend so many ops in Asia that he wasn't really able to spread anywhere.
yeah. So yeah, Tim really wanted to get that Asia Dom off. Okay, and there's a four op. Oh, he goes. Okay, so that's a statement in Asia. He's not gonna get dominated there. And this hand is garbage. Although a UN redraw is interesting.
Yeah, you could UNCIA if you wanted to.
You
So,
probably do want to, right?
yeah, because it's still awkward to give it. You weren't really able to spread too much.
This seems like an Asia headline to me, right?
Yeah, nothing's gonna
Even
change in
if you get
Asia.
hit with an IP war, which would really suck, you're still not going to get dominated. Okay, Middle East headline. So
All right.
yeah, Tim grateful for that. He spent almost nothing in the Middle East and was able to get it away for even. So is this an Olympic? You're cooing Algeria here, right? If Middle East hadn't just been scored, I'd say Libya, but it's got to be Algeria.
Yeah.
So Jeremy's saying he would think about giving CIA here. He thinks we're far enough ahead that he wants to get CIA out of the game permanently. What say you?
I usually like to get it out permanently, but yeah, it's he just wasn't able to spread that much, and he didn't get to Algeria. I don't know. I feel like the access is more important at this stage.
Yeah, we've lost Algeria. We'd be down a domination. We'd be dominated in Africa if we gave up CIA.
Mm,
On top of that, we are not getting mill-ops. Excuse me, we would not get mill-ops this turn.
right.
Chris already taking some leaps ahead in the space race. Okay, so Middle East and Asia scored. Europe pretty clearly going to be a draw here. And worth noting that Eastern Europe is going to be 5 each with Warsaw gone. So
Yeah.
when you're thinking about the Pope, thinking about Europe attack cards in the late war, circle that. Who would you rather be here, Derek? I think I'd probably slightly rather be Tim, given given the complexion of the mid-war regions. But this seems like a close game, right?
Oh, definitely a close game. Yeah, I definitely would rather beat him in this situation, but um, yeah, this could definitely swing either way. I mean, he's just barely hanging on in Africa, and yeah, a really quick VOA could be pretty devastating.
Okay, well, a big four op redraw, and now Chris is going to be ahead in Africa at the start of the mid-war. And he knows, but I believe both Blockade and Truman are known.
Yeah, and interesting that Tim would go to South Africa there as opposed to overprotecting Zaire because
Yeah,
of this.
yep, that's a good play. I don't. I yeah. I would have overprotected Zaire. Tim now behind in Africa. And yes, Tim Tim is in the chat saying, I would rather be Chris. Because being me is tough, unrelated to Twilight Struggle. Yeah, this guy's an idiot. I wouldn't call him an idiot, but I think he could have protected Zaire there. Oh boy, Africa all of a sudden looking very blue indeed, and look at this
Oof.
hand. Break it down for me, Derek.
Um, I mean, there's some bad stuff in this hand. I mean, you have Che in Portuguese
Che and Portuguese are both great events
are
here.
very good events. Yeah. Not sure which I would lean towards.
Um,
Maybe Portuguese, because Che might be helpful later.
mm,
Oh
mm,
man.
oh no. Oh no. Okay.
Um, yeah, this
That is
and just went from bad to worse.
That is I mean, it might be a little bit too dramatic to call it a game losing disaster, but now you have to hold grain and voice.
Oh,
And he misses on the coup. Oh, no.
oh,
So now you have to hold grain and voice. You have to play China. You have to give special, an active special, because you can't poke with it
mhm.
now. You have to give nuke subs, so you're going to lose Angola. Uh, and all of these cards are one-up cards. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad.
That is devastating.
Yeah, as I was walking through the hand before the headline, I'm like, okay, this is not great, but it's doable. And then saw the headline.
Yeah. So without purge, space grain, hold voice, special is the poke, nuke
Mhm.
subs, does something. Assume we're going to get a decent roll in Africa and flip over Zaire. We'll get the Che coups. Derek, would you have headlined Portuguese or Che? I'm wondering if maybe it should have been Che before Nigeria was filled. Then Yaku AR1, and Portuguese probably will still be there on
Yeah, but
AR2. I don't know. What do you think?
the nice thing about holding Che is for a situation like this where you have a for him.
Oh, he gets just enough
Yeah.
on the roll. Okay. So that was a so yes, you're absolutely right. If the Uruguay play was Tim's plan, Che definitely a good hold there, and he gets just enough on the roll to keep Chris out of South America for now.
Yeah, so as I was saying, that's I think like ideally he would have Zaire now too if he had a better coup roll. But yeah, I think holding back Che early on when they're in a lot of non-battlegrounds can be helpful.
Yep. So Tim now has to get Libya because
Hmm.
Chris gave it up to get the big coup on Uruguay, which looked like a good play, especially when he rolled a five. But Tim kicked him out of there. Oh my goodness. Tim has also quietly set up realigns on Zaire, although he's only got one up to do it.
Yeah, I think
Oh, that's
oh,
big.
that's really helpful.
Even if Browning repairs the UK now, losing the one in France is nice. Makes special a little bit more
Mhm.
palatable. Tim holding his breath, hoping that doesn't get repaired because that would be big. Oh, it doesn't.
Oh, all right. Play this as quickly as you can.
New life for Tim.
I would maybe have gone for realigns here. There
I
we
think you
go.
have to get your realigns. Oh, and he
Yeah.
hits
Oh,
it.
nice.
Oh man, yeah, I think that was. I think you're absolutely right, Derek. That's a situation where you have to get your realigns in first before you get realigned in Angola and potentially
Right.
staring down the barrel of an Africa control.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a big moment in this game for Tim, getting away with those two VPs. He doesn't have to give the two VPs. Doesn't have to load up France with blue influence for a later teardown. That's very nice for Tim.
Yeah, and he did this really quickly, but you didn't have to fill Libya before playing Sadat, because you could use the San influence to fill it up. which is what he ended up doing.
Yep. Okay, AR-7, yeah, it's nuke sub, so you're gonna eat a coup here in Angola or Zaire. But yeah, you don't have much of a better place to put that op than Egypt.
Yeah, that turn could have been much, much worse.
Yeah, I mean that turn could have been a game-losing disaster, especially with that terrible roll. Okay, and a bad roll from Chris as well. Okay, this hand's a little better. Still with some problems though.
Yeah.
This seems like a.
Uh,
Is this a Brezhnev hand? I think you're playing culture for the event and playing China so you can hold more of these cards.
yeah, if you're gonna do that, hmm, yeah, this is tricky.
So you,
Because if
you
you're gonna
held
do
over
that,
Drain and Voice, which you had to do. You'll space one of those, hold the other. And then Camp David is annoying, but you're just going to give it, and that's
yeah,
whatever.
but puppets is the one you
Yeah,
kind of have to play, but really don't want to.
yeah. So this I guess maybe this is a Brezhnev headline, and then we get three into Uruguay and just try and power our way into the bottom half of South America with pure ops.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now you look at Brezhnev. So VOA, what is VOA going to do? At the moment, if you gave a three op VOA, you're out of Panama. Could also take both Libya and Egypt. Anton pointing out that Brezhnev makes VOA almost playable. So maybe you can prep VOA and give that instead of puppets. Okay, well, Chris will happily take his 6 VPs. I think you're just still taking a coup with Zaire here, right?
Yeah, because otherwise you're gonna get realigned out.
Yeah, just take a nice, easy 3 op coup with Zaire. Guaranteed success on the roll. Another mediocre roll in Africa. But okay. And now we'll see if Brown. Again, there it is. Sorry, folks. We'll see if Chris has OAS. Um, does not.
I still haven't seen any of the power cards.
Yep.
He's gonna totally load up Uruguay, which you mentioned, and I agree with.
Yeah, I mean, I said 3 Uruguay, but I guess Tim doesn't have a great place for the fourth. I mean, yeah, you could put it in Iraq, Saudi, India, but those regions are scored, and you really need to make sure you're getting into South America. You're getting into the bottom half of South America
Mm.
first.
India is something you have to get an op into, because otherwise he could puppet right in there.
Yeah. So if the plan is to give puppets, we need to get one. Maybe, in fact, that may be a situation where you put one of puppets as 3 ops in there.
Hmm.
Chris, wow, Chris already with a lot of progress on the space race. He gets up 8 VPs. Tim going to try and stop the double, can't do it. So Chris has another shot here to even get to discard on turn 5. Your teammate Jeremy Anders imploring both players to take Egypt because both Nasser and Sadat are gone, and it's
Yeah,
just sitting there. Even with Middle East score, that's a very important country.
yeah, it's always tough when you have an important open battleground in a region that's already scored, and you have battlegrounds in unscored regions that are still to be taken. It's tough to make that trade-off.
So yeah, maybe Tim's next play is CMC to Argentina to Egypt, and then we'll see if Chris has ABM. Wonder what Chris is thinking about here. If he has Central, I think you just drop it.
Yeah.
Okay, what's that gonna do? That's a weird play. I think we fill
I mean,
India.
Southeast Asia scoring is getting to the point where, what is it, 6 now?
Right now it's 5.
Five, yeah.
Break of Burma is a little weird, but it makes sense because Chris doesn't have a ton of places to put his ops. Tim has
Yeah.
more access to open battlegrounds than Chris does. Although the 3 stabs in the Middle East could be attacked here with Muslims gone. Tim just puts one in Argentina. Now Chris is not playing like a man who has ABM, but that would feed right into a big
Oh, yeah.
ABM. So this I think needs to go into Chile. And okay, we've lost Egypt. Yeah, we got to get one into
Yeah,
Saudi.
start getting some other Middle East battlegrounds.
Okay, so Derek, are you given puppets or voice here? Okay,
I
central
think
dump
I'm
seemed like
still
nope.
giving puppets.
Yeah, you're gonna give puppets, I think.
It's like to give voice, you have to prep ahead of time for it.
Yeah,
With
well, you
puppets,
can't
you
get voice
can,
now because of
well,
Panama.
yeah, yeah. Puppets, you can somewhat respond to it.
Missile envy for a coup in Cameroon to get his mill ops, and then I think you give puppets first and then respond. Presumably, we will see Peru. Afghanistan is an issue.
Well, I think you're probably going to end up putting two in Chile and one in Afghanistan, or
Well, if
one
you're
in Pakistan, I mean.
yeah, one in Pakistan. So this could be this. I assume will be Peru, Afghanistan, and where else would you go here?
I
Uh,
mean, maybe Haiti, I guess, makes sense with Fidel still out there.
yeah, Haiti. I mean, but you don't want to let Tim Kuhn get in there without Fidel.
True.
Yeah, I was thinking Paraguay, the
Oh,
potential
that makes sense.
potential jam of Argentina. Yep, and this is right. Afghanistan could be an important country also for Asia country count. Right now, Tim with 7 countries, Chris with 5. So Afghanistan makes it 6. Japan would be 7. So Afghanistan could matter.
Yeah.
So we could have gone 2 Chile, 1 Afghanistan
Hmm. Just to block it off. Yeah,
with our
that
with our puppets
ultimately
ops.
does the same thing because a lot of times you don't want to play puppets first because your opponent then can do something, set up realigns. But yeah, I don't think there's something that Chris could have done here that would have been all that awful.
This will be a jam of something.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes
2,
sense.
yeah, so, and then take presence in South America is good, but the problem is that can be entirely fixed by one of the cards in this hand.
Yes.
So this is
I
a
think that's yeah, that's your headline.
this is a clear junta, right? There's
Yeah.
no. And then is this defect? Is defectors around?
Defectors is in the discard.
Yeah, yeah. So we're not really fighting for Europe Dom here, so Marshall's pretty givable. We've seen grain. We've seen missile envy. We haven't seen ABM or brush, but I think I'd want to save ABM. I think I'd want to save ABM for the middle of the turn. I don't know that I'd want to headline it here.
I mean, it depends. If Chris doesn't have South America scoring, he could be worried that Tim's going to be able to get it off.
Yep. Okay, so maybe Chris has Southeast Asia. The other card we've not seen it. Oh,
Oh,
okay. Now, so that worked out great for Tim. But personally, what about just the 2 in Mexico, and then you coup Mexico and then you just spend 2 ops of your AR1 fixing Argentina.
um, yeah. I didn't. I mean, actually, though, I mean, obviously, it worked out with the roll, but with the Southeast Asia play, like this gives you the flexibility to spend all those ops in Asia.
That's true. That's true. Yes, I was thinking take Mexico and because you need a 5 or a 6 on the roll to get anything in there.
Hmm.
But yes, you're right. With Southeast Asia to come, and those countries important for Asia country count, yeah, you want to not have to worry about Argentina.
Yeah, I mean, just roll sixes on coups all the time, like that just it solves a lot of
Yeah,
problems.
yep. Okay, so Marshall is whatever. It's not that bad. NATO's in effect, but special's gone. There's Kennedy. And will we see South
Oh,
America? We
Gunman
will.
Europe, there it
What an
goes.
unbelievable Kennedy
Oh,
hand. Gunman, Fidel, Europe, South America, U2. Wow, that is a game changing Kennedy.
that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, oof, that is brutal to recover from if you're Tim. But if you look at the board, Tim's only got one bad region,
Yeah,
and his bad region is one quick coup away from a flip. Now, problem,
you're
of
worried
course,
about war
yeah,
games.
war games territory is going to be a thing. ABM and Brush could also be in Chris's hand now. Very good chance they are in his hand. Good chance Southeast Asia is in his hand, although it's only two at this point. Yeah, that is huge. Sometimes Kennedy, I so many times I hold Kennedy for several turns and get nothing out of it, and then other times Kennedy just straight up wins you the game, and I'm worried that might have
Mhm.
been the case here.
Yeah, that was pretty devastating. Like Tim was getting to the point where, like again, board as you said looks great. VP track doesn't look so great. South America, I'm thinking Tim was probably hoping that was gonna solve the VP track issue.
Yeah, if Tim gets South America, you'd much rather be Tim here going into turn 7.
Hmm.
Because VP tracks, even board looks better for Tim. Also, we were talking over it, but Chris, oh, and there's Usuri, which is going to be a little bit annoying, but Tim's going to have to give this NORAD anyway.
Hmm.
So Tim triggered our man, left DEFCON at 2, so that he could get arms race off. Chris spaced Quagmire and hit the roll. He now has discard. There goes China, gonna flip Pakistan. That makes sense, and that does stop
Yeah.
Asia Dom.
And Nixon, it was played, but still out there. So
Yes, I believe Nixon and Cultural both played for ops. Is
mhm,
that right?
that is correct.
And Usuri was obviously just evented there. So Tim's still up 3 battlegrounds to 2 in Asia, but no longer with domination. Asia's about to be an even scoring once Chris finds time to get one into Afghanistan. Interestingly, Tim decides to space 5-year plan instead of voice so he can hold VOA through.
Yeah, I like that play. I don't know that I would have done it, but probably because I wouldn't have thought of it. So I really like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good play. You're not worried. Purge is gone. You'll still be able to space 2 ops next turn. Also, I believe Bear Trap is coming. Oh, and there
Bear
is the
trap is
Pope.
coming. Mhm.
There's the Pope, so that could be a very important event. Also, though, Chris did not fill Canada, and he did not overprotect Pakistan. And here's some stuff. Okay, this is
Mhm.
this is a hand that could potentially get Tim back into the game.
Yeah. So might be seeing a bear trap headline here, and Chris did get brush war.
Yeah. So Chris picks up Brush War and targets a plenty here for him. Central redraw is nice. Tim going with "We will bury you" as his headline, perhaps anticipating said bear trap.
Hmm.
And now we
Yeah,
probably
this
won't
makes a
see
lot of
bear trap
sense.
because Chris knows we have VOA. Tim also needs these 3 VPs. Let's be very clear about that.
Oh yeah.
Only problem, obviously, for Tim is he has no path into Cuba. Oh, we're going to see the bear trap
Still
anyway.
see it. Okay.
So huge roll coming up for Tim. Doesn't have another good card to dump to when he gets out in one.
That's how you do bear trap.
So will we see Brush now, or I wonder if we'll see it big ops? I don't know what Chris's ops look like, but I wonder if we'll see big ops into Poland. Because remember, Warsaw's gone.
Yeah, based on the cards that are known, his only three ops are OPEC, Salt, and Brush War. And then he has Panama and OAS. So could have gotten something from one of his redraws, but from what's known, he doesn't have a lot of ops.
Yep. Missile Envy for influence with a known ABM in our hand?
What is he worried about with that?
That's what Missile Envy's for, folks. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Marshall and NATO are gone. There were only a
I
couple
mean,
of redraws.
US Japan could have been a redraw, but
Even US Japan's
yeah,
nice to get here.
I know. I think you take the chance on that.
That's got to be an event. That matter of fact, that's a much better headline than Bear Trap.
Hmm.
Bear Trap needed to be an AR7 play, I think. Wow, that's a big mistake by Chris. I think you've got to event Missile Envy there. You know ABM. You know even people who don't track every single card meticulously know where ABM is on turn
Oh
seven.
yeah, that's one of those cards you want to have an idea of where it is.
Yeah. Okay. So Tim picks up 4 VPs with Central. Doesn't try to get the dom, and I think that's right. Especially because he knows that's coming. This, I would assume, is Lads, 1 Panama, 1 Poland.
Yeah, I like that.
So I believe One Small Step was a redraw, and Central was a redraw. But these
Yeah.
other cards are known. Tim keeping his powder dry on ABM. I would assume ABM on this board is just a nice coup of Nigeria to flip over Dom.
Yeah, might be a little bit of a game of chicken here between Brush War and ABM, because could also use ABM to respond to Brush War.
Okay, I don't understand what that poke of Brazil gets Chris. What does that poke of Brazil do? I'd have much rather had both of those ops in Poland.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
It's also realignable even if you are able to flip it. I mean, Missile Envy could have picked up ABM and cooed in Africa. Could have cooed Panama. Oh man, that would have been big. Could have even just jammed all 4 into Poland and flipped that. Although it would have cost us Nigeria in all likelihood.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a mistake from Chris to
Yeah.
not event that. Like there was no risk of it losing him the game. At worst, it was gonna give him something kind of blah, like nuclear test ban he could have gotten. But
Yep.
I think that's worth the risk.
A couple of insights from the chat that we missed. Number one, Algeria realigns are out there. No access
Hmm.
back in for Chris. And number two, as you pointed out, Chris has salt, and Tim does not want a salt for ABM to then empty out France.
That's a really good point.
I think Thailand's fine here for the fourth. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine too. We're I think I guess we're holding on to China here.
Mhm. Now OAS is going to be really annoying. Um, well, I guess you could just fix it with Willie Brandt.
Tim needs his mill ops as well.
Right. Obviously, he could get him with ABM, but I know that's why he's holding back on ABM now.
Yeah, Tim nervous about salt. Okay, there's Brush. Oh, flower power Libya? No, gonna go Venezuela and hit just enough.
Oh,
Okay, Tim now gonna take the ABM coup, and now assault for ABM. Okay, well now assault for ABM. You can still realign France at plus, but it's at +2 and not +3, and Tim has a path back in. So okay, Tim wanted to prevent that, but if he had just taken a 2-op coup, he was giving up 2 VPs to that salt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go, and
Aldrich is a nice draw.
Aldrich and a special, also a nice pickup with UK sitting at 4. Get rid of that for no problem. But yeah, Aldrich's nice. Latin American debt crisis is not going to do much for us. EEU is an easy space, and then we've got some other events that are just kind of meh. So we know Chris has ABM. Derek, do you know what his other card is?
OAS.
Oh yes, that's right. Okay, so he decided assault instead of OAS. Now we're playing Aldrich into headline peak. DEFCON is 5, so no gunman issues out there. ABM, and we're gonna just take a nice coup inside here and roll a 1, and okay. So a nice easy pickup of Star Wars here.
Yeah, that's you want to get rid of that.
That's huge. And then Tim also gonna get a coup. So I guess we'll just see 2 coups back and forth in Zaire, and then Tim can flip over Algeria.
Yeah, this going pretty well for Tim, I think.
Right, we have Angola. This is easy Star Wars. Then we're gonna take a 2-op coup with special on Zaire. We're gonna not roll the 1. Yep.
Very good.
Now Chris is going to get a coup, presumably in Angola. But if he does that, we're gonna take Algeria, and we will not have Dom though. Okay. So this will be Angola. Okay, and then this is 3 Algeria, 1 Zimbabwe, right?
Yeah, will that be enough?
Or Sudan. Yeah, Zimbabwe is better.
Yep. And Chris doesn't have a lot of firepower in his hand.
He does not. Also can't hold a card. Now, Tim doesn't have a lot of firepower in his hand either, but he has a great hand for repeated coups in Africa.
Yes.
Yep, so we're just going to keep coupping Africa.
This may not be worth it, but Debt Crisis, there's only one card in Chris's hand that he can discard to it, but the way South America is, I don't think that's worth eventing.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, and these coups in Africa are, we got a lot of big numbers here in these 1 stabs.
And Chris has 2 1-ups and a 3-up left, so
yeah, he wants to trigger OAS. He's gonna have to give up this Dom, it looks like.
I think so.
Tim now officially doesn't have a bad region. Now that he's flipped over Africa, I was looking for a moment like Tim might be controlled in Africa. Now he has a Dom. He knows that Chris has it in his hand, and there's nothing that Chris is going to be able to do about it, barring a huge roll on a 1-op coup.
Yeah, this is definitely looking good for Tim. I mean, the DEFCON situation is always something to worry about, but there's only so much you can do about that. Just hang on to China.
Okay, so yeah, Tim can just respond to that with a 1-op. And now so this is... I would have rather cooed there, I think. But Tim can just use those 2-ops to take freaking Somalia. Is this Twilight Struggle Red Sea?
Yeah.
Are we playing Red Sea here?
Actually, I like this better. I was going to say he could also poke.
Yeah.
Get another VP out of it.
And Chris with OAS and Africa. Oh, he's going to use OAS for a coup.
Oh,
But he hits. So is Chris going to weasel out of this Dom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 countries. Yeah, that's not good enough.
yeah. You gotta
We have to flip. We're down 7 countries to 6, so we
flip a
need to flip
battleground or
over one of
flip
these
a
non-battlegrounds
non-battlegrounds. Yeah.
if we want this Dom. So if you coup Zimbabwe, I guess it would be, you need to roll what? A 4, right? This 50-50 shot. I think you take that shot, don't you?
Mm.
Does Tim not want to roll the dice and he'll take his 2? Nope.
Yeah. I mean, I guess with the state of the board, I think I like that
Yep.
play.
Tim tips his cap and okay, wow, more problems.
Ooh.
Grain, Cal, EEU held over, and 5-year plan. This is a concern. Is this a Cal headline? We Will Bury You is gone. Headline peak in effect, but We Will Bury You is gone. This is a Cal headline, isn't it?
I think you headline Cal. Yeah.
If you don't, you have to play China, Space Grain, and hold 5-year plan, and Cal to turn 10. With Duck and Teardown still around.
Yeah. And Purge is out there. So, yeah, I think it's Cal.
Yep, I think that's the right play by Tim. And we don't need this coup. We don't really have anywhere we want a coup right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, Tim doesn't really have any good coup targets.
I mean, Egypt is okay, but yeah, but instead of cooing Egypt, you can just fill up Saudi or fill up Iraq.
Yep.
Oh, there
you
it
called
is.
Okay, but now, so that's still going to be a problem for Tim because now he's got a
Definitely.
space 5-year plan. He's got to give EEU and hold grain.
Yep.
Okay, going to play China right away. Worried about maybe Nixon and terrorism.
Yeah. Nixon terrorism loses you the game. Potentially.
Yeah. So Tim taking out the China card immediately. Yeah. Tim has eaten 2 purges. And so Tim got purge in the early war and deployed it against Chris to good effect. But Chris has caught Tim with a couple of pretty terrible hands with his purges. Now, Fidel, obviously important. Iran-Iraq war is whatever. It's probably an event to try and pick up some VPs. Blockade, even if blockade hits, it's not going to do much.
No.
That's really just 1 VP. And there it is, terrorism. What's it going to hit? Ooh, okay. So now 5-year plan to space. Which, obviously, that was going to have to happen anyway. And Tim just going to start overprotecting stuff because he knows that this board looks pretty darn good for final. Now, Derek, though, correct me if I'm wrong. We're out when there are no more discarders left.
Yeah, I was just looking through that. There are no other discarders out there.
Okay, and there's Chernobyl for South America.
Okay, so he can take Chris could take Chile eventually.
Yeah, but that would require 7 ops.
Yeah.
And I think Tim is probably saying, okay, you want to spend 7 ops there, go ahead. He did have Nixon.
Oh. Okay, well, Tim played that well then because the combo was there.
Yeah, Tim probably wants to realign Chile. You can realign here, and keep Chile, but CRGs is a unfortunate event. EEU not nearly as bad now that Chernobyl is gone.
Yeah.
Solidarity is around, so we do have to keep that in mind.
Just surviving this turn is an accomplishment.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I guess you go Algeria here, certainly with one, South Africa with another, and then what? Vietnam, Indonesia? No, we're gonna go all in Asia.
seems like someone who might have Asia scoring in hand.
Yeah, maybe. Someone who has Asia scoring hand probably wouldn't have played Chernobyl into South America.
Maybe also has South America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, there's Muslims. That's active, and Muslims is a big problem.
oh, wow.
Okay, so you got to realign that, right? But what with? Realign that at +1, or this at +2. Okay, and he hits, but he gives up Fidel. Fidel's an important card for final.
Yeah.
Fidel is not nothing. But yeah, I guess Tim figures he needs his mill ops with Iran-Iraq War.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Maybe
Oh,
did Tim know about that?
no.
Yeah, I don't think Tim
That's
knew about that. So, but maybe just a very lucky break for Tim that he's going to get right back in. Do you just take your realigns here with EEU? Realign
Yeah,
Chile,
I
then
think you
Brazil?
do because it really does seem like he has South.
Yeah, I mean, with I would never do this with Chernobyl in the deck.
No.
But with Chernobyl gone, I think you're okay with it. Tim hits there, and yeah, it's
Okay.
Brazil, right?
Yeah, why not? Like if you lose it, it's like
Oh, he goes Venezuela instead. He was worried about the catastrophic roll.
yeah, yeah.
He wants to make Chris spend 3 more ops in Brazil that he is not convinced. Yeah, he's not convinced
Yeah.
Chris has it, and Chris
Mhm.
doesn't. Now we'll get our mill ops, miss on the roll, but we did get away with our dom. Poland's still out there, but certainly if Chris had a big card to attack it, he would have played it in South America.
Yeah.
And Allende. Okay, so here we go to turn 10, and then, okay, there goes Gunman.
Okay.
So turn 10. Oh my goodness, duck and teardown. Now again, all the discarders are gone.
Yep.
So I think this is a duck headline, right?
Yep. It
You have
is.
to headline duck, space grain or teardown, hold the other.
Hold the other. Oh. Um. I mean, I guess you could
Okay.
not coup here
Oh well.
and
All right.
play duck for influence.
Yep.
Okay, that's what he's going with.
So maybe Tim counting the cards, and realized that there were no degraders out there.
Hmm.
Um, how I learned CMC, I think we've seen both of those. Um, Missile envy, not a
CIA is obviously out there, but that's
yeah,
a
not a
one-off.
problem. Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking about CIA.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean CIA headline right against Junta. I just headline CIA and a coup is GG.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would have
if
been.
Chris just headlined CIA, which is an extremely reasonable headline, and coups,
Oh,
that's GG,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, and
Well,
CIA is a very like turn 10 to know the entire hand of your opponent. Like that would have been a very reasonable headline.
yeah. Now defecting Junta is nice too,
Right.
but yeah. I mean, if you look at this board, Chris doesn't have a positive region. I think you have to go for DEFCON, right?
Yeah.
He literally has 0 positive regions,
Hmm.
and Tim about to get a big scoring off in the Middle East.
Yeah, and Chris really doesn't have an opportunity to get a positive region.
Nope.
I guess Indo-Pac is out there, but it's kind of a reach.
Flower power is also in effect.
Hmm.
Yeah, Iraq nothing to write home about. Tim will pick up some VPs there. Um, yeah, and there is IP war, as you said. This would be enough to flip Dom in Asia if it hits. India's naked, but he rolls a 1. We have to give US Japan, but this seems like a US just jam US Japan right back into it, right?
Yeah.
Here goes tear down. Yeah. So Tim is going to have this one. In the mid-war, once we saw that Kennedy discard and the 9 VPs sitting on the board for Chris, boy, really looked like Tim was going to be in a world of hurt. But things really turned around for him in the late war, despite all these friggin' DEF CON cards he drew.
Yeah, he really wriggled out of some rough hands.
Yeah, so 2 brutal purges. A hand with 3 DEF CON cards turn 9. Another hand with 3 DEF CON cards turn 10. Grain voice nuke subs turn 4 after purge. Yeah. So
Yeah, you said before we started the stream that you hadn't seen this game, weren't sure how good it was, but it's definitely had some very interesting moments.
yeah, no question about it. This was a fun one for sure. And Tim's going to take game 1 against Chris, but more Twilight Struggle left to play. The 2 players will switch sides, be back for game 2, and if necessary, game 3. I'll have it for you here on this channel, probably on a recorded basis once that's done. Space for 4 VPs and misses yet again. It doesn't matter.
No, no.
Sure, take a Dom there, take Turkey for a Europe
Does
Dom.
Turkey give you Dom? Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Never
Oh,
mind. It
right.
doesn't.
No,
Does
you went
not.
off.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is pretty well locked up.
So, thanks everybody for watching. Glad you tuned in for this one. And we're just about to let Derek go to move over to his own game. So make sure you tune into Derek's channel in 15 minutes. Derek, before we see the final play here, I know you got to get going. So let's get your final thoughts on this one before the final buzzer.
Yeah, I think Tim played that pretty well. There were some hands that were really rough. He found ways to get out of them. I do think he kind of misplayed the headline this last turn. If Chris had CIA, that could have been game. But yeah, I think both players kind of made little mistakes here and there, but overall played pretty well and made for an interesting game.
I agree. I think this was definitely a fun one to watch. I enjoyed it. I'm glad we were able to bring it here to you on this. Unless you have a brilliant move here, I'm gonna win. Yes. Okay. So, thanks everybody for watching. We'll have this one. We'll have game 2 for you as soon as we can. A 28 VP victory for Tim, and final scoring goes up 1-0, and that is on his way to a 3rd straight series win in the ITSL playoffs. Might be getting yours truly in the next round. But until next time, for Derek Miller, for Justin Abramson, I'm signing off right now. That was fun, but now it's done. So long, everybody.